3, 2, 1. Cheers.
Mine's still too
Welcome back, everybody, to another Ben and Brittany podcast. Today's topic is an interesting one for us because we just kind of stumbled into it when we were like, we use so many applications to run our life.
We do.
We do, and I was just like, why don't we just do one called Applications for Life, and just full disclosure, what we use on a regular basis to plan, whether it be a calendar or financially or communication or all this stuff to just make sure that our lives go fit together and we just stay on top of our stuff, because communication is one of the biggest keys in a successful relationship, successful business relationship, romantic relationship, doesn't matter.
Yeah, you have to communicate.
You gotta communicate. So
and
Brittany,
being on the same page.
Yeah.
And there's certain... Well, we'll talk about that later. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Brittany's gonna yell at me later. You'll hear about it. She started yelling at me before the podcast, and I was like, save it for the podcast. Let's just be real about it.
First off, I don't yell at you.
You know what I mean.
I talk more seriously, and that's when you know.
Yeah, when she starts to sass me a little bit.
I'm not sassy.
Is there an application to thwart sassiness? I'm downloading it.
Can't stop me.
Just kidding. Can't stop, won't stop. Rockefeller Records.
Just in case my voice goes out again, I fear I am getting sick, hence the tea.
Yeah, she's drinking tea. I'm drinking wine.
And I have a little stash of cough drops next to me.
Yeah.
But it was crackling a little bit earlier, so.
But we'll be all right. We'll get through it.
Yeah, we will.
Brittany compiled a list of applications that we pretty much couldn't live without.
Yeah.
Or couldn't live the way we wanted to without them.
I think if we didn't have these apps before, because we just implemented some of them maybe in the last month or two, and I don't want to go back.
No.
I think it has taken... Some of the apps help us communicate better and stay on the same page. Some of the apps just help us know what the heck is going on in life.
Yeah.
And some of the apps help take items off of our shoulders. It makes certain things easier, so that way we have more time for work, we have more time to spend with the kids, we have more time doing other things than some of these other items.
Yeah.
Like they simplified things.
It helps
for us.
clear our plate. It automates things sometimes.
Yep. So we have systems in place, and I think anyone could actually use them.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to start?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Go ahead and start it up. Brittany has compiled a list of these apps. We're gonna rattle them all.
Yeah, I have compiled a list, and first and foremost, the most important is Google Calendar.
We have a shared Google Calendar. My calendars are all synced with Brittany's calendars, and if you pull up our Google Calendar on her phone, it looks exactly the same as mine. And all we do is essentially turn off notifications for certain things that we don't need to see. Like, for instance, you have a notification that sends to you about your meetings every day. I turn those off.
Right.
I can see them, but my phone doesn't go off. And she knows whenever the band's going to play a show or practicing or something like that. She knows my entire life is on Brittany's phone, and Brittany's entire life is on my phone. And
then we put joint events underneath my calendar because Ben can see it.
Yeah.
And most of the time I'm the one planning or configuring those events anyway.
Yeah, I'm just the one that goes, where, when? Oh, cool.
Yeah. Or if Ben tells me, hey, do you want to go to Momo's this weekend? I'll say, yep, what time? He figures it out, tells me, I put it in the calendar.
Yep. Momo is what I call my grandmother, by the way.
Yeah. Sweetest lady on the planet.
She is. I love her. But yeah. I'll just tell my side of the story.
Brittany. Can we just, real quick,
okay,
before we get into story time? The calendar, we have become so reliant.
It's sacred.
On this calendar, that if it's not on the calendar, it legit doesn't get done. Remember that time when we did the parent stories and I sent Kaylin to school in a dress on field day?
Yeah.
That was because
it wasn't on the calendar.
Nope, they had to cancel original field day. on the calendar because it rained. I didn't put rescheduled field day on the calendar.
And we screwed up.
And I screwed up. So when I say we live by that calendar, folks, I'm not kidding. If I don't put it in there, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to forget.
Yeah. 10 times out of 10 for me.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So, continue.
Okay, I'll go.
I love you.
I love you
Kiss
too.
Me first.
Okay, this is not podcast stuff, babe. Just kidding.
It's the Oreo effect. I'll end with a kiss too.
Okay.
I still love you.
Okay, so calendar screw up main event right here. So, obviously, for those of you who know me, I play in a rock band and we play shows. Well, we have a tour coming up, and I found out through Brittany that the calendar was inaccurate. I was not in charge. I'm not going to say names, but somebody else was in charge of making sure the Small Town Titans calendar was up to date. 'Twas not. And
can I interject real quick?
Let me. Sure.
Real quick. This was pre-coffee, and we've had this discussion before about making sure that the calendar was super accurate.
Yeah.
Due to reasons that I'll say on my side of the story later. Just pre-coffee.
Are you done? Okay. So, the calendar was inaccurate, and it wasn't my fault, and I didn't know. Our band had moved away from the calendar and started putting all of our show dates in a spreadsheet because it was much easier to decipher when shows were. Our calendar was starting to get filled up with a bunch of stuff, and it was just really hard to find when shows were. We needed everything. We needed to be able to look at all of our shows in succession, not have to sift through the whole calendar to try to find where they are. Because if we had a show 3 months from now, you would have to go to the calendar and try to figure out where on the calendar it was by tapping each day to see if it was there. If we put them on a spreadsheet, they're all just in a row. So we did that, and when we did that, I did not know that the calendar was now null and void. Like, nobody was updating the calendar. Brittany informed me.
I sure did.
And this was like shortly after we had to talk about how sacred the calendar was and how it needs to be updated and accurate and all this stuff. And she goes, when you blah 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 leaving blah 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 blah, and I was like, the first show is here, and she's like, well, that's not what the calendar says.
That's not how I said. I said, no, baby, it says here that the first show is on this day in this state, and I just because Ben doesn't know these things, folks. I have to remind Ben when his doctor appointments are, and they're in the calendar. So I just thought Ben was mistaken.
Nope.
So I didn't say it meanly. Don't turn me out to be.
I'm in storytelling.
I know you could be storytelling, but don't. I wasn't mad yet.
Yeah, okay.
The mad part is coming.
The mad part was when I said, "Oh yeah, the calendar's probably not right anymore," and you were like, "What?" Walked into the closet, grabbed a bat, came out. Oh, sorry.
We don't even own a bat.
But no, that's when she got mad. She was like, "Are you meaning to tell me that we had all these talks about keeping the calendar accurate, and you didn't tell me it wasn't accurate anymore? Like, I look at that thing. How long have I been looking at that thing and trusting this inaccurate information? You asshole!" She didn't call me an asshole, but that's what you were thinking. And I was just like, oh, foot in mouth. Sorry. Oh my God, I don't know what to do.
First thing in the morning, folks. This is how I woke up on Monday.
Yeah, and then she goes, "You're such a terrible communicator," and I was like, "I am. I don't need reminded."
Ben gets one-track minded in the sense that when he's working on something, he's working on that thing.
I get too focused.
So, right. So, I'm not saying, like, this is not a bad thing about Ben. We both have strengths and weaknesses. My strength is keeping us, on schedule.
Yeah.
So, I remind Ben of his doctor appointments. I, sometimes remind Ben of his own band appointments. This is true.
That's sad but true.
This is super true.
Sad but true.
So, and it's okay. Like, we've understood that Ben forgets to write things down. Ben forgets when his appointments are. So that's just become, I don't want to say a responsibility of mine, but I've helped you with that. as you help me with things that I'm not good at. It's just one of those give and take type things, and I tend to be the stronger communicator. You tended to be a weaker communicator. That's why we
that's why we
relied on the calendar.
Yeah, and we still do. We just had a little bit of a mix-up. That calendar is still very, very sacred, and all of the shows that go into the show's spreadsheet, where they are now, I am personally updating on the calendar. So if something happens, like, it's my fault.
Right. So because we decided, like, if the band doesn't want to use their calendar for that anymore, that's kudos to them. You guys can run your business how you want to. And if that's not working for you, then obviously you need to change your system. And if it's a spreadsheet and a calendar, just the spreadsheet, whatever. But at the end of the day, when it comes time to Ben and I, part of his business is this band. So even if he doesn't put it in the band calendar, he needs to be putting it in our shared calendar.
Yeah.
Now, we've always had this understanding that I might plan, say 2 months from now, a family day trip to X place. And I always know in the back of my mind that could be super tentative. So it's always a goal. Like, it's not really planning. It's more like, all right, our goal is to go to the zoo on August 26th, and I'm just making stuff up right now.
Yeah.
But that's a goal. And then, of course, if a really good opportunity for the band comes up, that's going to get rescheduled.
Which could happen. It's happened in the past where we get a really good show offer, something like a major festival, and it just happens to land on a day that we had a family trip planned. And sometimes you just got to weigh your options, and more often than not, since I have 2 other guys in the band that may really want to do it, and it's a good thing for our business, we might have to cancel a family thing, which sucks. Like, that's not fair.
But
hard. It's just the way that life is, because if we have something planned, or like a date night or a family thing, and then you have to go show $1 million home, like, on that day and only that day, like, you're probably gonna do it.
Right.
Yeah.
We definitely, when we block family time, we stick to it probably, I would say 90%.
Yeah. Pretty close.
We hold it pretty sacred. Now, sometimes, we might kind of push a little business in there because, yes, like, opportunities come up that you have to take.
We gotta eat.
Yeah, that's what pays the bills. But point being, when I plan things, I look at the calendar. Because both of our schedules are super hectic, that's why the calendar is so important. Knowing that when I plan things in events, it's more like we're penciling it in the hopes that it can happen, but 9 times out of 10 we know that it is. But I just feel like if we don't at least plan for it, we'll never do it. So I feel better at least having a goal to do it.
Yeah. And without that calendar, like, we would find ourselves in so many more pickles.
We really would. And I feel like there would be unnecessary stress. So we got rid of it. We have shared calendars. And it's also safety. With me being a realtor, most of the time I do meet clients in office settings now. I don't meet clients at homes. It's very rare that I do that with the way that my team is. However, if I am meeting clients at homes, Ben knows where I am. All he has to do is open up the calendar, go, okay, it's 5 o'clock. Where's Brittany at? Oh, she had a 4:45 at 123 Main Street.
Yep, we got safe words too.
Yep, so he knows, where I am, who I'm with, about how much time I planned on being there, what was it for, and we also have code words that if I call him and say something, or I text him and say a certain thing, he knows that I need help. So it's also a safety thing.
For sure.
Yeah.
Without it, we'd be screwed. So that's the most important one for us.
And
though.
Ben had a hard way of relearning that on my
Yeah,
own.
you get slapped on the wrist every now and then. Ho, ho, ho. Mm-hmm. It hurts.
I'm sorry.
My wrist
And I
still
truly,
hurts.
when I said you're a terrible communicator, I didn't mean that as an insult. I was just trying to be like, Ben, that's your weak point. My strong point is communicating, hence why we have an hour.
This was like super early in the morning before Brittany's coffee. Like, I wake up super early in the morning. I wake up to make Brittany coffee and bring it to her in bed.
Yeah.
And that's when she found out about it and called me a terrible communicator. So I was like, what? Like, yo, I just got it.
I do remember I was still laying in bed, like, about to be drinking my coffee when all this went down, and I remember, like, jumping out of the bed, like, WTF?
serious?
What do you mean the calendar's not accurate?
You say I portrayed you as that. That's exactly how I portrayed you before.
I'm allowed.
All right, next
Okay,
application.
so the
What is it?
next app that I feel like we should talk about, this is kind of along the same lines. We have the Google Keep app.
Google Keep. What Google Keep is a series of shared itemized lists, aka it's a way to sync our phones to have the same lists on them. So we can have a grocery list on there. We can have podcast ideas on there.
Yep.
We can have anything like trip ideas, anything that we have listed. We can use Google Keep for, and it syncs to our phones. So if I add it, it updates hers in real time. It's essentially a Google Doc, but in app form. That's much quicker to get to.
Yep. Yeah.
And we use that all the time for grocery lists. As soon as we run out of something, we just add it to the grocery list.
Which is actually called Peapod.
Yeah,
the
that's
Peapod
the next
order
app, isn't
list,
it?
which we'll talk about then.
Yeah. I think Google Keeps just essentially that's bare bones.
Yeah, it's just a to-do list that's on our app, so it's with you all the time. So it's not like when you go to the grocery store and you're like, crap, I forgot my list on the counter. No, it's on your phone, and you can have private lists. Like I have lists that Ben doesn't. He's not a collaborator. It's not shared with him, and that's just because I have it for my real estate stuff. Like I have a list of all my buyers. I have a list of my sellers. I have a list of contracts I have pending. I have a list of contracts I closed.
Yeah.
And that just helps keep me, I can see where my numbers are and remind me of who I'm working with at all times. So I have like those ones that Ben doesn't necessarily need access to, so he doesn't.
Yeah, and you don't. You do have access to them because I write them actually down with a marker on a piece of paper. Like I do. I don't do a whole lot of lists that I don't share with Brittany because I'm an analog lister. Like every morning when I wake up, the first thing I do is make Brittany coffee. The second thing I do is create my list of tasks for the day. And I just write them down with a Sharpie and a piece of blank computer paper. And I actually write a square and then the task. And then throughout the day, I'll actually end up with pretty much a full piece of paper almost every day of all the tasks I need to do. And they'll be simple, like clean the kitchen, take the trash out. Like even the little things because I forget what I need. You didn't have to say that one. Sometimes I forget to brush my teeth in the morning.
We have to put. I don't like clutter. This is a side topic. I have OCD, and Ben is helping me with it. But I love things to be clean and clutter free. And needless to say, I've had to bend because Ben, if he doesn't put it on his list, or if he doesn't have the toothbrush and toothpaste on the counter in the bathroom, he will not brush his teeth.
I'm out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah,
I don't even think about it because when I wake up, like I said, the first thing I do is make Brittany coffee. The second thing I do is create my list. The third thing I do is start the list.
I brush my teeth immediately after shower, and I do that first thing in the morning. And you don't. Your showers kind of vary, so that does make sense now that I'm saying this out loud.
Yeah, because you gotta get up, shower, and leave. I gotta get up, and if my day requires a shower, I shower. If it doesn't, I get right to work because I know that like if I don't, all of the tasks that I need to complete just roll over to the next day, and before you know it, if Friday rolls around and I have 3 pieces of paper full of tasks that I didn't complete throughout the day, so like I just those task lists I live by them, and if I don't put something on there, it does not get done. And sometimes if I do something that's not on there, I'll write it down just so I can check it off because it feels really good.
Mm-hmm. And for me, one thing that I've been trying to do, I don't always do it, but I have a time block for email, phone calls, and miscellaneous, and that's to help with the random stuff that happens during the day that I can't predict. Like when a bad inspection comes in or...
It turns your day upside down.
Right. So I have a time block for that, and if something comes up that I know I need to handle, I go in my calendar, in my email, phones, miscellaneous time slot, and there's a notes section in Google Calendar appointments. So then I'll put in there, call Bob, handle this, complete this form. Like I put those random to-dos in my time block in the notes section.
Yeah.
Do I do that all the time? No. Should I? Yes. It's something I'm working on. But yeah.
Yeah, I think the moral of this story of the Google Keep and like just making lists is that we can't function without lists. And if you're one of those people that don't make lists, I strongly suggest you try it. Because you might not like it, but I would say 99% of you that don't make lists, get up in the morning and make a task list, and then do your best to complete that for the day, and tell me you don't feel awesome when you go to bed. Yeah, knowing that you just got the things that you needed to get done today, and you can visualize it on a list.
Whether you're crossing it off, or in Google Keep you can check a box. Like, you can choose to have check boxes if you want. When you check it, it crosses it out for you.
Yeah, and it's so good.
Yeah, like you feel like,
Yeah.
And also, let's be real, there's way too many things that we have to do in a day.
Information overload.
There's no way, and again, this is why I forget things if it's not on my list or the calendar, because your brain is full of so much stuff that you can't. Most of the time, I feel like it's fair to say you just can't remember to do it all. So that's why lists help.
You need to focus on one task at a time. So all you do is you automate your brain to not have to focus on what tasks you have to do. You just write them down. That's all it is to it. And that way you can focus on one at a time. What's the next thing? Oh, Peapod.
Well,
I'm ready to talk about Peapod.
So Peapod
is the greatest thing ever. Sorry.
So Peapod and meal prep. Yes, we have a meal prep spreadsheet. Starting Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
You'll see how it all ties in. It sounds kind of weird to have like, well, yeah, we meal prep, but it helps because of Peapod. We meal plan because of Peapod.
We do, and for the budget, which we'll talk about next. But okay, so real quick, we have a spreadsheet for a monthly budget, which the monthly budget is just how much did we spend on groceries for the entire month of May. We do it on like the first week of the next month for the month previous. So for example, July 2nd-ish, we will tally up all of our expenditures for June to see where our money went.
Yeah, sometimes it's not.
We'll talk about budgeting more later in the same podcast, but just so you have an idea. So then we always have goals on what do we want to reduce, and one of the ones that we wanted to reduce was groceries. And Peapod and meal planning helped.
Like tremendous.
In 1 month, so in
hundreds
April,
of dollars.
Yes, in April we spent over $700 on groceries.
$700,
which for a family of 4 is not that uncommon. It's not that unheard of. However, when we added it up, I could have vomited.
Yeah, I was like, there's no way. Where's the mistake? Where's the mistake? And there was no mistake. We went through every single transaction. And it was every single one of them. They were groceries.
It was groceries. And so anyway, we started meal planning with the help of Peapod. So what Ben and I do, it's a 2-person system.
Well, let's explain what Peapod actually is. Real quick. Peapod is a grocery delivery system. You order your groceries online. The guys come. They drop it off in your kitchen. You sign. They leave. It's $7.95 for this service. $7.95. That's more than any of you guys probably make in an hour, like by far. And sometimes with kids, it takes us longer than an hour to grocery shop for 1 week. So I'm like, gladly we'll pay that. Later, as we started doing it, we realized we were able to cut out all the little dumb things that we got.
Right,
like
the things
taking the kids with us and getting a bag of marshmallows here because they saw it and wanted it, or a toy here because they saw it and wanted it, or like just all those other stuff, or we saw something and wanted it.
I was going to say, we both are guilty of getting stuff off of end caps because you're like, ooh.
Yeah, and we got sick of throwing stuff out at the end of the week. We would get a lot of groceries and then they would go bad.
Right.
We ended up throwing out half the produce that we got.
Yeah, because it would be like a crazy busy week. So 3 out of the 7 days we ended up takeout, pizza. Not that we don't try to do that often, or ended up doing things. We have to do something quick tonight. We don't have time to make a meal that's going to take us an hour.
Yeah, like tonight we had Chinese.
Yeah. Yeah, podcast nights we purposely do something simple.
Yeah, because neither of us want to cook.
I tend to work late. You tend to work late, and then we get home, clean, and then we're just like, yeah, let's just. Simple eating, like chill the rest of the night.
I want to be comfortable when we're doing the podcast. Hence the wine.
But yeah, so $7.95. That's what it cost us to do Peapod, and we saved $200 between April and May, and that was the only change in the groceries, was meal planning and Peapod.
We saved $200 by not grocery shopping.
By not
going to the store. We had the store come to us, and we saved $200, and it's the greatest thing ever, because we would decide on Sunday, hey, what do you want to eat this week? And we would pick all these meals that we like, our go-to meals, and just interchange
meals,
them.
And we also kind of browse our pantry, and we browse the fridge and freezer to see what do we already have.
What do we need?
And then say Ben's like, all right, well, we've got burger, and then I'll look in the pantry and be like, okay, well, we've got stuff for me to make my spaghetti sauce.
And then we're like, boom, spaghetti and meatballs.
We'll do spaghetti and meatballs. And then like, okay, do I have everything we need? Nope, we need Parmesan cheese. So then immediately go to Peapod, add Parmesan cheese to the cart. Then we move on to Monday. And we, at this time too, we're also kind of thinking about what's going on this week. Mm-hmm. So that way...
Will we really have time to eat?
Yeah, what are we going to have time to do? Is this going to be a long day? Maybe we need to make it a crock pot meal. Or nope, you know what? We have a lot going on Friday. Let's get one of those take and bake pizzas. Mm-hmm. So we meal plan around the calendar, which we already talked about. What's already in our pantry, in our fridge, so we're wasting less food. And then directly using what we immediately need for that. We only do 1 week at a time. Mm-hmm. For Peapod.
Weekly deliveries we get, yeah.
Yep. And we do most of our planning Sunday, sometimes Monday, depending on how hectic Sunday was.
Yeah, and it all has just been fitting like a glove, and I love it. Like it's not even a chore. Like think about grocery shopping at Giant with 2 kids versus setting up your laptop in your kitchen
while the kids are sleeping.
And just knocking it out in 20 minutes, and you're good for the week. And then it shows up at your house the next day if you wanted to.
Yep, and you can even plan it ahead. Like, so if you order on Sunday, but really you don't need anything on your Peapod order until Tuesday, the further out ahead you schedule delivery, you actually get money off.
Yeah.
So a lot of times we've gotten $3-5 off our order because we had everything we needed for Monday.
Yeah.
So then I had it scheduled for Tuesday, and we saved $5.
Yep.
And because Ben works from home,
I can be here to get it.
He can be here to get it.
You have to pick a certain allotted time.
Yeah, you pick. There's like hour slots.
Yeah.
And it texts you when they're on their way.
Yep.
And when they're there. So, there's some flexibility there as far as if you can't be home all day, but you can take an hour to come home. That might be an option for you too. But yeah, that's been a huge help. I think we've been to the store, I don't know,
maybe twice since we started doing Peapod, and it was only to pick up like one thing.
I think one was because
we ran out of eggs.
Yeah,
I ate too many eggs that week.
I messed up. I forgot to order the eggs. That's what happened. Because I thought I added it to the cart and I didn't.
Yeah.
And then the other one was...
Oh, they were missing something. They showed up at the house and they were like, yeah, we were out of ground beef hot dogs.
And that rarely happens.
Yeah.
It really does.
So we had to go get hot dogs.
And one other time was because I had a gift card.
Yeah, we went to Target.
So.
But yeah, also, just so you guys know, we are not sponsored by Peapod or anything that we talk about. We don't get paid for any of this.
No, we just really
I was just thinking, I was like, man, Peapod should we should get sponsored by Peapod because we just fucking talk all about them.
Just look up grocery delivery in your area. You're going to look at it and be like, I'm not paying $8 for someone to bring me my groceries. I am telling you right now, you will save money.
You will save money.
You will save more than however much that delivery fee cost you.
Promise. I dare you to try it.
Mm-hmm.
Tell them that the Ben and Brittany podcast sent you, and then hopefully they'll be like, oh, we should, give you guys some
I'd love to hear
cool
how
discounts. That would be sweet, and then we'll thank you guys.
Yeah, I would love to hear how it works for other people because I love it.
Yeah, I like free stuff.
So there's that. Oh, let's talk about the budget. So
budget, go. This is your domain. I am the without Brittany, guys, this budget thing would be something that I wouldn't do because I wouldn't know how to do it. Brittany is very much financially smart and sound. I am the opposite. I can barely do math in my head. Like, I failed math twice in college. I hate it. I hate budgeting. I hate learning about how the bank system works. Without Brittany, I would be dead in the water. So take it away, Brittany. You have the floor for like 10 minutes.
That's it. All right, so we're both self-employed. We have irregular income. So not only do we have to budget life, rent, utilities, that kind of thing, we also have to budget business. So Ben and I have 3 items that we have to use in order to do this.
They all work together.
And they all work together. We did see a financial advisor. So some of the tips we learned from the advisor, and it has helped. So I suggest that you meet with somebody like that as well. Most of the time, their first appointment with you oftentimes is free, and it's super beneficial. Even if you've been doing it for a long time, just having another pair of eyes to look at it just gives you a fresh perspective.
You might think you got a good grasp on things, and then somebody's going to come rock your world, and you're going to be like, oh my God, I had no idea I was missing all this stuff.
Yeah. So again, I guess now we have to say this. These are just apps that we use, and we're only telling you about them
because they work for us.
Because they work for us. They help that. They keep things transparent between us. The line of communication open between us, and it just works. It works for us. So for everyday budgeting, we use Mint. Mint is a free personal budget app, and you can connect your bank accounts to it if you want to. You do not have to. You can manually enter your transactions if you'd like.
Screw that. That would be ridiculous.
For Ben
Brittany
and I, we can't do that.
Brittany and I have we have multiple bank accounts, and she has like 6 bank accounts. I have 6 bank accounts for many different things. We'll talk about that soon. However, Mint, what that allows us to do is to take her 6 bank accounts and my 6 bank accounts and put them together into one app where you can view and categorize everything together as a family. It's awesome.
Yep. And so Ben said we have separate bank accounts at the same bank. It doesn't have to be at the same bank, but for him and I that works. But anyway, so on Mint, he can see all of my balances. I can see all of his balances. Except to be clear, I don't see anything Small Town Titans related. You can pick and choose which accounts.
Oh yeah, they don't have
I just want to make that clear.
The Small Town Titans business account is not attached to our Mint app because that has nothing to do with it.
Well, I know, but that's why I just wanted to make it clear because it's your business, but it's separate.
Yeah, no, BGcinematics is in our family, so you have access to that one.
Yes, so I just wanted to be super extra clear about that. I never would want that to be a question.
Mm-hmm.
So he can see all my accounts, my real estate accounts. I can see his. I can't move money.
Nope.
I can only control my accounts. He can only control his accounts, but it's full transparency because we have one Mint login.
It's an overseer.
Okay. So what it does then is it automatically, if you do the bank connection, it will automatically categorize your transactions. Now, sometimes it's not right. If you go to a gas station all the time for gas, but then one day buy coffee there, you need to tell it that it was coffee because it's going to think it was gas.
It's going to think you got $2.50 worth of gas.
So a couple times a week, sometimes
but
less than that.
It learns. It does learn.
It learns your patterns. It does. We'll go in there and kind of fix what transactions were. If I bought, especially when I go to Target, if I buy something at Target, I do have to go in there and I tell it what it was so Ben knows that I wasn't just like buying random things. Like he knows, was it house supplies? Was it, whatever it was. So then that kind of lets me see each week, okay, we spent this much on groceries so far this month. We spent this much so far on home supplies. Well, Ben, we've already exceeded our restaurant budget. That's a common theme.
Yeah, that's our kryptonite.
It really is.
You're going out to eat at restaurants.
Restaurants and fast food.
Well, not even fast food. We don't eat fast food, really.
No, but I count like takeout.
Oh. Okay. Yeah.
But anyway,
we're not like big time drive-through people.
No, we're not. But we like to go out to eat though. So I could see weekly like where we're at. Then at the end of the month, we put all those end budgets. Like okay, so then we go to Mint, and Mint says you spent $454 on groceries this month. I input it on the spreadsheet. And the spreadsheet will say our income for the month. Then we have all these categories that Mint is tracking for us every single day.
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the month, we just put all the end totals. And then we can compare, okay, so from April to May, we did this. You
Yeah.
know, from April to May to June, we did this.
Yeah.
And Mint can do that for you, but I have to tell you, typing it in forces you to really look at the budget.
And you understand it.
You understand it so much more. So yeah, you could have Mint compare months for you, but I am telling you, when you break it down like that and you manually enter it, and Ben and I always do that part together.
Mm-hmm.
So the Mint transactions,
even though I'm like a bump on a log.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing now, Brittany?
So the Mint transactions,
learning.
a lot of times I just do that on my own. He does his on his own. But when we do the actual monthly spreadsheet, we time block time and we sit down together. Because if you are in a relationship, that's how it should be. There should not be one person always doing the budget. I promise you that will create problems. There needs to be open transparency. Even if one person's stronger at it than the other, you both need to know how much money is coming in and how much money is going out and where that money is going.
Yep.
Because it will create problems down the road if there's one person who doesn't know. Because then they're going to be like, well, I make $5,000 a month. Why can't I go buy this?
Mm-hmm.
It's my money. And then the other person's like, because of all these bills.
That you didn't know about.
It just keeps you on the same page.
Yeah.
Financial reasons is like the number one reason for people getting a divorce.
That's one of the most stressful topics for two people to engage in.
Yeah.
I think.
So I wanted to divert that completely, and that's why we do the Mint and the spreadsheet. And
well, we do everything as a team, pretty
we
much.
really do.
We live life like a team. If you're in a relationship, you guys need to be a team, because if you're not, you're gonna find issues and problems where they don't need to be. All you got to do is just do things together. That's seriously it. Do whatever you're doing, do it together. Even if if one person wants to go to a ballet and you hate ballet, you go to the frickin' ballet. Because next time when you want to go to a rock concert, she'll go. That was a funny analogy, because Brittany does not like ballet, and I don't go to rock concerts unless I'm playing it. Like, it's funny when you're in a rock and roll band, like, you don't go on the weekend. If you don't have a show, like, the last thing you want to do is go to a rock concert.
Right. You kind of want to break from it.
Yeah.
So those are, where we do our budget spreadsheet, Google Sheets. We use Google Apps for almost everything.
Google Sheets is essentially Microsoft Excel.
Yeah.
But the Google form of it. And
Google is free.
Yeah, Google's free, and it works great, and that's seriously what a lot of businesses and
it works a lot like Excel.
Yeah, it works just like Excel. It's just different interface. It's like Safari versus, Google Chrome.
Yeah.
Google Chrome Google just kicks so much booty hole in everything. Like, I love Google.
The other one that we use for budgeting is QuickBooks Self-Employed. So that's for our business expenditures.
Mm-hmm.
That can also connect to your business accounts to automatically categorize your transactions. You can take pictures of your receipts to connect it to those transactions. Then come tax time, it automatically does your Schedule C, where it breaks down all of your business expenses. You hand that to your accountant, and
yeah, you can export a CSV file and hand it to your accountant.
Yeah,
and
here's
what is it? It's $5 a month.
$10 a month.
$10
to start. It's $5 a month. If you want a link to it, we could post that in the comments, because then you get if we refer someone, they do get they get it for $5 a month longer, and then
but we don't get any money. Oh wait, no, we get $5 off.
You get $5 off if you refer someone, and that's for anyone. Like, anybody who refers QuickBooks Self-Employed can get $5 off. Yeah,
and we'll say that in the description. That's a good idea. We should post links to all these things.
Yeah.
That we use.
I would even be okay doing.
But we do have to say legally if we're getting a financial gain from it or something like that.
But we're not.
But we get a discount if somebody uses
only QuickBooks Self-Employed.
Yeah, I know, but we'd have to mention.
We'll mention it. Okay, yeah. I get it. So that's what we use. It's super simple. If you have any type of small business, it also, for me, it tracks mileage. You can have it track your mileage for you.
Oh yeah, it has an auto mileage tracker.
So
Get this.
It senses when you're driving.
You're in the car, you get in the car, you drive down the street to the grocery store, or if you're using Peapod, you don't do that, but if you go down the street for something and you come back, your phone's going to be like, hey, were you just in a car ride? Was it business or personal? And you just swipe left or right, and it just like GPS like laser targets your mileage, and it's so awesome.
Yeah. So again, helps you with tax time. You don't have to carry around a mileage log. You don't have to remember to enter it anywhere. You just swipe right for personal, left for business, or whichever one it is.
Yep.
And then that goes into that'll be an automatic category on your Schedule C. So your accountant will make sure that he writes off your mileage.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong. Your daily commute to work is not a business mileage expense, right? You can't write off your commute to work, but you can if you're at work or you're like me and you have to drive somewhere for a video shoot or like a show, like you can mark that as a business trip.
Right. And like for me, like if I have a client appointment, and let's say it's at a house, I have to, it's not the first showing, it's the second showing that I can write off, because the first showing would be my office location. Like that's your first, because you don't write off going to work. So my first location is going to work, and then after that I can write off. Mm-hmm. To be more specific than that, ask your accountant for more specific accounting questions, but that's the best I think we can do. Yeah. Without getting in legal trouble. We're not experts.
IRS is gonna come at somebody's door like, well, Ben and Brittany said.
Yeah, we're not accountants. However, we have an accountant, and this has been working for us. Yeah. So you might.
We're not going to say with 100% certainty that we know what we're doing, but we have a pretty good idea.
It's working, and we do consult our accountant. If we're not sure, I call him up. He's a super cool dude, and probably should charge me more because I probably ask more questions than I should.
Repeat business. He's happy.
Yeah, for sure. Get yourself a good accountant. Get yourself a good financial advisor.
Yeah, I think a lot of people like will be afraid of the initial expense of hiring an accountant, but there's a lot you can get from an accountant for free before you pay.
Yes.
And the same thing with like QuickBooks Self-Employed. I bet you there was a couple people that were like, it's $10 a month. You'd be surprised with how much it'll help you. It's worth it. Like those apps and stuff. Some things that are paid apps are actually a steal if you use them properly and you keep track of everything. Like, because I was the same way. When you said $10 a month, I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for that. I should have been doing it for a long time. Yeah. Like it's worth it.
Yeah, and you're doing it all year, every week, every day, instead of going, shoot, I gotta do my taxes today. And then you just get out this pile of receipts, or you start digging through your bank account to try to find any write-off that you can. Yeah. Like, it's ready for you to go, and it's ready for your accountant, and just makes life easier. So if you're self-employed in any way, shape, or form, if you have like a side Mary Kay business or a side 31 business or whatever those other businesses are.
If you do the thing that everybody in my high school did, where you like sell knives door to door, like get the app.
It does help.
Yeah.
We also use we do a lot of Amazon Prime Pantry.
Prime Pantry is Peapod for non-perishables.
Yep. So we do that a lot for like household goods, like toilet paper, paper towels, paper plates, certain things that we eat on a regular basis, because you can buy it in bulk from Amazon Prime Pantry, and we were saving dollars, like multiple dollars per item.
Yeah, we found that out because Peapod will sell you everything that Giant has. There's also a lot of things that Prime Pantry has cheaper. And we found that out, so now we pretty much get our groceries from Peapod, like peppers, like eggs, milk,
meat,
bread, all that stuff, and then
items.
like paper products and stuff like that, like regular household things that you need, cleaning products, paper products, stuff like that we get from Prime Pantry.
And you have to spend like $35, I think, and then you don't have to pay shipping.
$35 is the minimum for Prime Pantry, and $60 is the minimum for Peapod. But yeah, I mean, not many people. A lot of people go to the grocery store once a week and spend $180. No problem.
We keep it under $70.
And then they throw $60 of it in the trash can.
Right.
Like we were doing.
Yeah, for sure.
Not no more. Not no more.
No, we've, between the meal planning and our Peapod and Amazon Prime Pantry, we have kept waste to a minimum and have saved money. Also, one thing that we kept running into was like, we have a lot of ideas. And Ben and I would be like, well, what if we could find this? Okay, let's go to Target. And we'd go to Target or multiple stores sometimes. Like this curtain behind Ben here. I needed a curtain for sliding glass door. Finding a big enough curtain was hard to find. Like you would have to buy like 4 curtains to make that size. And I couldn't find anything that I liked that was light blocking. Like all the light blocking.
Yeah, we had a specific criteria. It needed to be X inches long, it needed to be light blocking, and it needed to be blue.
And I wanted it to be pretty. I didn't want it to be ugly because we already have
ugly. It
ugly.
did not suck.
Yeah. So finally, we went to all these stores, couldn't find it. I go on Amazon, and in 5 minutes, I'm like, this works. And it was cheaper than everything else.
And even
that
if it's not cheaper, you save time.
And time is money.
So much more valuable than people think it is.
Yeah.
Like, I would spend an extra $1 on something to not have to walk down the street and get it. Mm-hmm. That time is valuable.
And that's what we were learning, too, like with the Peapod thing. Like, some people, still might be having a hard time wrapping their head around it. But, guys, there was literally days where Ben and I were so busy. I was grocery shopping in between client appointments. So, like, I'd have an appointment at 1 and an appointment at 3. So, from 1:45 to 2:30, I was shopping, running the groceries home. Ben would quickly put them away. And then I'd go to another appointment. Mm-hmm. And different odd things like that.
Yeah, and I'm here like, I have a video deadline. 6 o'clock tonight.
Right. So we finally realized, like, what are we doing? And then we would have to wait until, like, when the kids were home. And then we're dragging the kids to the grocery store after they had a long day at school and daycare. They were tired.
Yeah, and that happened after you were like, forcing all that grocery shopping in between appointments and stuff. We realized you forgot something, so we had to go anyway.
We all had to go. Yep. It was horrible. So anyway,
those days are over. Those days are over.
So Amazon Prime, at any time now, when I want something or need something, we go to Amazon first and we see if we can order it.
Yep, and Amazon brings that shit straight to your door in like 2 days. Very
rarely have I decided to end up going to Target now, because Amazon usually has it cheaper, and you can get it in 2 days.
Yep. I bet you $1 there's somebody listening to this podcast going, that's so lazy.
Probably.
I don't know what, I kind of want to tell that person off right now.
Yeah.
You're stupid! Okay, go ahead, continue.
They're not stupid, they just don't understand, or maybe they're just not as hectic as we are.
No, they're stupid.
Okay.
Just kidding. Maybe not stupid, but you haven't tried it yet. It's so much more beneficial. It has nothing to do with laziness, guys. Yeah. I just feel like there's one person going, oh, wow, you're so lazy you don't even go to the store no more.
All of these apps are to make things simpler on us or less stress on us, so that way we have more time to do other things, whether it's concentrate more on work, or when we have time to be with family, we can actually be present with family. Mm-hmm. Not having to do all the cleaning and the cooking and the running the errands and going to the grocery store and blah, 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 and then play with our kids. Yeah. It's, guess what? Everything's done. We have the whole day now. On Sundays is kind of like our family dedicated days. We're not having to do all these other things that we don't really want to do that day. We can actually rest, be present. And then I don't feel as bad when I have to work a little late on Monday or Tuesday or whatever day of the week it is, because I know that when I'm off, I'm off.
Yep, and you're good to go.
So, another one that we use, and this is just more so that we have storage, is Google Photos. So Ben and I, we like to take a lot of pictures. Obviously, Ben does, because that's part of his job, his business. But so that way we can always kind of have a record of it. We have we both have Google Photos, and you can share albums. So I'll take a bunch of pictures, and I think I started this when Ben was on tour, maybe, or around that time. And instead of blowing Ben's phone up with like 50 pictures,
You just upload them, and I would get one notification that said, Brittany just uploaded 56 photos.
And then when he was on the tour bus or whatever, he could...
I could just see what the family was up to.
Tour van. He could go through all these pictures, and even, like, he could just look at past stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, instead of, like... Because on this van, you don't have a ton of room as it is. So if I were to send, like, 20 photos to make you think of us, it would be a little difficult.
Yeah.
He literally has photos, I think, all the way back to our very first photo that we took together in our relationship, all on Google Photos.
Yeah.
And I like it because I have it organized in certain albums, so then if I want to get some new photos printed, I know what albums to look in to get the certain photos that I need, and I always have access to them without having to, like, scroll through Facebook or anything like that. So that's another one we use. I use Fitbit. What's the one on your phone?
Mine is just called Galaxy Wearable.
So we both have smartwatches that are like the, fitness trackers.
Yeah, the funny thing is, I got Brittany a Fitbit HR for Mother's Day because she's awesome, and we both agreed that we wanted Fitbits, both of us. So I was like, if I get one for her for Mother's Day, she's gonna get one for me for sometime. And I was like, so I was just waiting on my Fitbit, and then my phone broke. She needed a new phone too, so we went to the Verizon store together.
Yeah.
With my upgrade, this awesome Galaxy watch, full-on smartwatch, was the same price.
No. Hold on. Because of me getting a new phone.
No, it was my upgrade.
No, you didn't get an upgrade. You used insurance to get the same phone. You didn't get an upgrade.
Oh. I thought it was my upgrade the whole time.
No, you didn't get an upgrade. You got the same exact phone, just refurbished.
On an insurance
claim.
Yeah, okay.
So, my upgrade allowed me to get the smartwatch for $100, and this was normally like a $250 watch, and I knew that I was going to be getting Ben the same Fitbit as me, but white.
And it's $100.
And it was $100. So
and this does way more than just a Fitbit does.
Yeah. So I'm like, well, I guess, so we both talked about it in the store. And I was like, you were going to get one from me. So let's just be real about it.
Yep. And Brittany, actually, she did try it on, and she was like, I don't like it. It's too big and bulky for her wrist.
I have super small wrists. I'll take this off right now, and I will just show you. Yeah. So you can see how small my wrists are.
This is, for those of you listening, we also have a video version of this podcast.
Oh, yeah.
This is a pretty
So this is the size of my wrist, hence why if I were to have Ben's watch...
Look at this. Look, compared to the microphone, to my wrist. Look, are you serious?
Yeah. So as much as I love Ben's watch, I do, and I'm slightly jealous because
this looks like a child's bracelet.
It can do, it's actually dying, which is weird because it's been on the charger all day.
I didn't see it said it was dying.
Yeah, the battery thing popped up. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. I am slightly jealous of everything that Ben's watch can do. It can do a lot more than mine. Mine can only do certain exercises, and then I have to manually enter other ones that I do. And but I don't know if I could handle this.
The size of it.
On my little wrist. And I do love mine. It's very comfortable. But it allows me to track what I eat. Which I don't do it on days that I'm being bad.
Excuse me.
Which is probably
cheat days.
Negating the point of having the app. But I just I use it more for the steps and the activity more than the food. Because we eat healthy most of the time.
Yeah, and my watch does, it syncs with my phone, so it's legitimately a cell phone on my wrist. I can talk to people like James Bond, hey man, what's going on? I can text people from it, read my emails, all my applications work on the watch. It's pretty amazing how it's set up.
It allows you to walk away from your phone.
Yeah, I don't have to have my phone strapped to my
I like
that
pants. About mine. I can't text from mine, but I do get text and call alerts on mine. So my Fitbit will tell me, hey, you just got a text from so-and-so, you just got a call from this number. So if I have my phone at the dining room table, but I'm in the bedroom folding towels, and I see I got a text message, I can read it to determine, okay, do I need to go get that right now, or oh no, this can wait until I'm done doing what I'm doing. And it has given me some type of, like, a sense of freedom almost to not always have to have my phone on me.
You don't feel naked without your phone anymore.
Right.
And currently, I took 9,093 steps, and my heart rate is 65 BPM, and it's 8 o'clock at night.
I don't know what mine is because I didn't wear mine today because it was on the charger all day, so that's why I'm concerned that it just told me that it's low battery.
Yeah.
But anywho.
We'll figure that out.
And
but I don't know if 65 BPM is a low heart rate or not. We always have this conversation, like, is that healthy or is that low?
My low is 75.
Your low is 75. My resting heart rate when I first got the watch was a 58.
Yeah, I don't know, baby. I mean, we both had checkups recently, and both of them were well. So you would think
I'm just super healthy. Because I quit smoking. Word up.
Yep, you've done so good.
Yeah.
It's been a month now.
Yeah.
Baby, I can't think of any other app that we didn't talk about other than Netflix. I consider Netflix an app.
Netflix is our cuddle app.
It is. That is when we snuggle.
We just watched.
We really don't. We have cable only in our living room, only because the cable company made me get it to get the discounted rate on internet, and it's stupid that it's cheaper to buy both cable and internet than it is to just buy internet. But that's what happened. We really don't watch it.
We got a 50-inch TV right here that is never on.
It's for the kids.
For a kid.
We thought we were gonna watch. We need a comfier couch.
And we got it because we were like, oh, this is gonna be a 50-inch. It was on sale like Black Friday, so we got it.
Yeah.
And it just sits there, like it's never on.
I do think if we had a comfier couch, we would spend more time out here.
Probably. Our couch sucks.
We need to make more money so we can buy a new couch.
Yeah.
But there's just every time we have extra money, like there's just other things that it needs to go towards.
Yeah.
But anyway.
And the couch, you can still sit on it. It's just not super comfy.
It's just not comfy, yeah. But yeah, we Netflix. What was the show that we just got done watching that I really, really liked?
Bad Blood.
So good.
If you guys watched Sons of Anarchy,
yes.
The character named Tig in Sons of Anarchy is the main character of this show called Bad Blood. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I'll be really honest. It is Sons of Anarchy, but from a different perspective. You're following the perspective of a character who's above the bikers. The bikers work for this guy.
Yeah.
This guy who was Tig from Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah, don't tell him too much, so you need to watch it. If you like Sons of Anarchy, which that was like my favorite show, so disappointed when that ended.
Yeah, you'll like this show.
You will like this show. It was so good. We watched two seasons in like 3 days.
Yep.
It was so good.
It was one of those shows where like you go to bed. We go to bed early. Like we put the kids to bed at 7:30, and we're pretty much watching TV. So we'd be up until like 11:30, 12 o'clock at night, still watching this damn TV show. Like, oh my god.
And then it was so difficult to get up. That's why I've been so tired.
Yeah, because good TV shows cause bad sleep.
Yeah, super sure. But we do. That is how we unwind.
Yep. But it needs to happen. You need to unwind.
I'm just gonna look real quick on my phone. I don't think there's any other app that we use that like other people don't. Obviously we're on Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah, those are null and void. Those are just standard.
Then I have other like business apps that don't really apply.
Yeah, I have business apps that don't apply either, like Asana and Slack. Yeah. They're like communication task management apps.
Which that's kind of what Google Keep is for us.
A little bit. It's more of just a shared list app.
Yeah, we don't have to upgrade to that for what we need it.
No. But that's pretty much it, baby.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. So yeah, I hope people try it, and I hope that they like it as much as we do, because I will say there was a point like maybe a month ago or 2 months ago. It was right before we started ordering groceries, because I told Ben that I was starting to get overwhelmed because I felt like, business was peaking, which was good. It is good. But I didn't have time for cleaning, and I didn't have time to grocery shop, and I was starting to feel overwhelmed because like I would be at work thinking about, well, I have to go home and I have to go grocery store and I gotta go here to pick up this.
By that time it's bedtime.
And then when I was at home, like trying to grocery shop and run errands, I was thinking like, oh, I need to get home, I need to respond to this email, I need to send so-and-so this thing to sign, I need to check in with this person to see how the showing went. I couldn't be focused.
Yeah,
and
life just stacked up on you.
These applications have made tasks that we have to do. You have to do it, and if you're not doing it, you should be doing it, like budgeting. It just made it easier, less dreadful, less stressful, and it helps me breathe.
It helps you automate just a little bit and open up your personal schedule. Let your brain breathe.
Yeah. It lets us when we get to spend quality time with each other, it is quality time.
Yep. And if I would say to you guys, if there's one thing you take away from this podcast, start making lists. If you start making lists, things like using these apps will be on those lists. If you think you want to start using some and give them a try, like write it down on a list to download it and try it that day, because everything starts with those lists. For me, without those lists, without my analog Sharpie, like every morning list, I would be lost. So if there's anything you take away, start making lists. Even if it sounds stupid and you don't think you'll benefit from it, just try it. I think you'd be surprised.
And we use the list together when I'm home with you. And I do lists in my calendar.
Super important. Time
blocking in your calendar, so that way if there's certain things that you have to do and they're going to take a chunk of time block it, because if it's in your calendar, you'll do it. But you really have to be dedicated to doing that. Like you can't just put it in there and not do it.
That's why I was saying start with the list.
Yeah, start with
Dedicate
the list,
yourself
and then
to
you
the list.
graduate to these other things.
Yep.
And also, don't go home and implement all 10 of these apps at once.
No, because you'll fail.
You will fail. It will be overwhelming, and you're going to be like, yeah, F this, I'm not doing it. Start with the list. And then maybe after a week of doing the list, add the calendar. Then maybe after a week of doing that, add the budget one. If you do it all at once, you will be overwhelmed. We were kind of overwhelmed in the beginning.
We were.
Because we started adding them rather quickly. But then once we got a flow figured out and we got used to it, it became normal.
Yep.
So don't go home and download all of them.
Yeah.
Or if you need to, download them all so they're on your phone as a reminder, but don't start using them all at once.
Slowly implement them through lists.
Lists.
But anyway, guys, this podcast is brought to you by BGcinematics and
Brittany Shakespeare Realtor.
Yes, and the reason that we do that now is for tax reasons. Ain't gonna lie. Can we say that?
What?
Yeah, we can say that.
Say what?
That we have to sponsor our own podcast so we can write some stuff off.
Well, it's to make it more clear, especially
that this is a business thing. It's
a business.
We just did that because of the apps that we have and stuff like that. Like
that's another podcast.
Yeah.
Maybe I could do a tax write-off tips session.
Yep. But yeah, we sponsored our own podcast. We did it.
BGcinematics is filming.
Yeah, I'm doing the podcast.
And recording.
BGcinematics is handling the production.
Yeah.
So we are recording the podcast with BGcinematics. So why not sponsor my own podcast? We'll see you guys in the next podcast. Was there anything else I want to say?
I don't know.
No, my wine's gone. But anyway.
I need more tea. My throat hurts.
More tea?
It is
I think I'm good on the wine.
Fire.
But thank you guys for watching. You guys keep watching. We'll keep recording. Like, comment, subscribe. You can find these podcasts all over the place.
And we'll put in the comments links to the apps. And maybe I'll even do like a screenshot of what our budget template looks like.
That's cool too. That'd be awesome. And the meal plan template.
Oh, and the meal plan template.
Yeah, so we'll put all that stuff down below in our YouTube description so you guys have access to everything that we use and what our stuff looks like. So.
And if you have tips for other apps.
Yeah, leave comments. If there's other stuff that you guys use, like drop a comment because we're down. We're down to check anything out that's going to improve our lives and open up our schedules and make everything flow better because believe it or not, technology is here to stay, so you might as well embrace it.
Yeah. Yep. If only they had an app that did your laundry for you.
That would be so sick. I would pay for it like a lot of money.
I spent all day in between stuff getting laundry done.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. Just saying.
Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you later.
Sorry.
That was great.
I got on another tangent. But it's true.